Hello, my name is Hawa Malechi. I will be there at the 50+1 summit. I hope to see you there. I had a military father. My father was a soldier. So I lived in Accra. I did basic school in Bemapan Primary in JSS. It was a good school. They taught us very well. So BEC was fine. And as I said earlier, with the interest of doing a hospital-based course, I knew I would either become a nurse or I'll become a doctor. Wow. So, and in my school, JSS, at final year, they do career guidance and counseling for you. So they bring people of varied professions to come to you, talk to you, and tell you what courses you need to do to be, if you want to be like them when you go to SS, what courses you should choose.
Wow.
So we had so many different people coming in. So I knew I had to do science when I go to SS. So I chose science.
From the career counseling?
Counseling, yeah. Okay. So they'll tell you if you want to be a doctor or a nurse, then you have to go and do science and do this course. If you want to be an engineer, then you have to do this. If you want to be whatever, so many different professions, fashion designers, civil engineers, they brought varied. So you choose what you want to be, and then you choose the appropriate courses in your SS. I ended up in Tamasco. 5 girls in a class of 47. A lot
so
of
was a competition like?
Yes, a lot of bullying because from where I came from, in my school in Accra, there was no segregation between boys and girls. We were all pupils. So we're all doing the same things. But then the moment I got to Tamale, I realized that if you're a girl, you're different. You're treated differently. So the boys in the class would expect the girls to do all the sweeping every day. And I said, no, it can't happen like that. We are all paying the same fees. So I won't sweep the class for you every day. Fortunately for me, I had a teacher who agreed with my way of thinking. My maths teacher then, Reverend Azika. So he made, I'll write names of those who refused to sweep. So we're now sweeping by rows. If you do not sweep, then I'll put your name forward to him and you fetch gravel. So I really had few friends.
Because of that?
Yes. And I was called all sorts of names. I was too known. I was that. Because I was quite outspoken.
That didn't affect studies?
No, not at all. I was part of my school's team for Brilliant Science and Maths Quiz.
Wow.
And then in SS3, I was a girls prefect. Then exam came. We wrote the exam. I passed. That was where the tricky part was, because in SS3 there was this exam, this common entrance exam, or was it aptitude test for nursing training college. So I had written the aptitude test for nursing training college. So before the SSC results came, I had passed the aptitude test. And then my dad said, okay, go, they'll pay you allowance. Just go. Go for
allowance.
And then my SSC results came and I had good grades. I had a 13. So I said, no, I don't want to go to the nursing training college again. It qualifies me to go to the university. So I want to go to the university. My dad said no. He was okay. He has gone on retirement. He doesn't want to pay fees anymore. So if I go to the training college, I'll be giving some allowance, and that would spare him his little pension. I cried. I didn't eat for days. I was just in the room crying. And then a friend of mine came to visit me with her uncle. So as we were talking about the results, he asked to see mine. So I picked my results and came and showed him. He said, wow, that's nice. So when I go into school, I started crying. So I told him my story, how my daddy said he was not willing to pay long fees again. So he introduced me to my district assembly, to the member of parliament. He told me to give him a copy of my results. So he went and showed it to the member of parliament of my area, one Madam Susanna. And then she was also encouraged. She was excited about it. So she instructed the district assembly to take up my fees.
Wow.
Yeah. So
the fact that you were a lady actually did science and had that results.
So
okay.
I finally got admission to Legon. So my district assembly paid my fees from first year to final year.
Wow.
In medical school.
Wow.
So in return, when I qualified, I kept going there every now and then. And even as of now, whenever I have time, I go there to the district hospital to help.
So is it because the member of parliament then knew you, or it's actually very possible for people with good grades to say
I think it's part of their mandate as members of parliament to help brilliant but needy students. So wow. I think I had the opportunity to fall, because I wasn't the only person that was being assisted. There were other people who were equally being assisted. And I remember those times, though mine was my complete fees, even other students who were from that area and they were in the university, each time they were going back to school, they would go and they would give them some TNT to go back to school. So it wasn't like just for me alone. And it wasn't because she knew me. I didn't know her.
Okay.
It was the uncle of my friend that I knew, and he was the one who did it.
Okay.
So I went to medical school. So that's the basis.
Okay.
So you don't go to school on public pairs and then you go and play around. When you go to school on public pairs, you have to go and learn.
Okay.
So I did what I could as a student, was to learn, apply myself. And then I graduated top of my class in 2007 with 10 awards.
10 awards?
10
like
different awards.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how was that possible?
Well, as I said, the goal was to pass the exam. Okay. The awards were the sweeties that came with the goal, because the goal was not to get awards. So I myself was surprised. I was taken aback when I had a letter from the dean enumerating the awards that I had received and that I should be present at the graduation grounds for them. It was like, really? Anyway, but I enjoyed it.
It was fun.
Yes, it was fun. My whole family came. My parents were there. My cousins, my uncle who was in Accra threw a big party for me. So it was fun.
So at the medical school, was there this gender disparities?
As I said, it's down south, you don't see it that much.
Okay.
You see it here in the north. Had it not been Tamasco, I didn't know that they treated girls and boys in the same class differently. I didn't know that, because I schooled down south. And going back to medical school, there was nothing like that.
Okay.
We are all students, so you learn, I learn, you pass, I pass, and then we go on. We didn't have gender frictions there, like I observed whilst I was in Tamasco. And well, knowing where we came from, because I wasn't the only one. We, those who came from the north, we made it a point that we don't fail any exam, because you know where you're coming from. So we all did well at the end of the day. My roommate also took 3 awards, Patience. She's in the US with her family now. So it was
was
nice.
It just the females taking the awards?
Mostly females take the awards in medical.
I hope we are listening.
Yes, in medical. I don't know whether the trend has changed now, but mostly the girls top the class all the time. The girls always top the class.
Most females have this perception. Even for me, when I was going to secondary school, actually they picked me for a science class back at secondary school. When I changed. I have this perception, not just me, so many females have the perception that science is very difficult. Even till now, I still have that perception. What motivated you? Did you also have that fear?
Never. I never thought that science was difficult. Maybe because I knew that was a gateway to what I wanted to do. So I didn't have the choice to be afraid of it. I wanted to either work as a nurse or work as a doctor, and the only way I could do that was to do science. So I never had that thought.
But even with nursing, you can go and do arts and still become a nurse. So why would you choose to go and do science? Today. Oh, okay.
Then those times it used to just be those who do science.
Science. Oh, okay.
It's in recent times that those who do home economics and general arts
can all end up
end up doing. But those times, if you want to work in the health sector, you have to do some science.
Oh, okay.
So, but then perhaps maybe I enjoyed the subjects already, so I didn't have that phobia for it. Okay. But then I think that just like every other subject is difficult. Just put your mind to it.
Not us. Us is not difficult.
Us is not difficult.
Not that all.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So earlier in our conversation, you made mention that you had a supportive, not just a supportive, but a good and understanding husband. How did you get such a supportive? That's my first question. Husband, and did you think you would have come this far if he wasn't that supportive?
Well, so the first question, how I came by him, he was God sent.
No, doctor, I will not take that one.
Yes, because he's been my friend for ages. So my first advice to every woman is to marry your friend.
Marry your friend.
Yes, if your love,
I wish
if
there
the
was
love
a pen and a
lies
paper
down,
here so that
the friendship stays.
Okay.
That doesn't go away.
Okay,
so he has been my friend since '95. So I knew him inside out. He knew me inside out. He knew me when I was nobody. I knew him when he was nobody.
So, okay. So, no. When you started the whole idea of dating and being in a relationship, was he working? Was he already made?
No.
Okay.
He was in school and I was in school.
Okay.
So, until we both completed and then we got married. So we started life from scratch together.
So he actually started working after you got married, or?
Yes, he just started work and I also had just started work. Then we got married. And then we built everything we had together.
So, assuming you were working, you started work and he wasn't working back then, would you have still married him?
I would have.
Well, I reserve my comments.
Yes, because it's in the potential of the person, not just today. So if you meet somebody, you should look at the tomorrow of the person, not just today. So he may not be employed today, but that doesn't mean he will remain unemployed. What is his potential? And when he gets his potential, what difference would it make to your life? So if you can support him while he looks for a job, and then he finds a job and life cruises on smoothly. Yes, so you asked how would life be, whether I would have been able to achieve all this without him.
Without a supportive him?
Yes, I would say no. Because a lot of sacrifice went into everything.
Even financial?
Yes, even financial. Because we lived here in Tamale and then I had to move to Accra to go to school. So new accommodation, new everything, and he had to support me to do all that. As I said, I started a program with my first child. So when I was pregnant with the second, I had to bring the first one to him and leave him here with the boy, and then I went back to school. So if he didn't, he had to wake up and bath him, take him to school,
pick him from school.
Yes, pick him from school and all that for the period almost a year and a half for me to finish the program and come. He was flying to Accra once every month. on his own pocket, not for me to buy tickets for him, just to see us. So
you were really blessed.
Yes, so he put in a lot for me to get how far. Another great pillar that I have is my mother, because all this while she was with me whilst I was in school.
She was still working by then, right?
My mom, no.
Oh, okay.
She went with me to Accra, so she was keeping the babies at home whilst I go to work. And there were times I could go for 24 hours and I'm not back.
God.
And she's been with me ever since I started having my baby. So currently I have a 6-month-old baby and she's with grandma at home. So
it was not just a supportive husband, also a supportive
yes, you need a supportive family.
Okay.
Somebody who can stand, because to be able to achieve all this, yes, you need somebody you can give your baby to and have the sound mind that the baby is well cared for, so that when you go out there, you work to your fullest.
Because I can't imagine you having to take care of these children all by yourself.
Yes.
Coupled with
work and house chores and everything. So I have been lucky.
You've been lucky indeed. Yeah, because some women will share a very different story from what you just shared. Okay, so let's dive back to your awards. So aside those gargantuan awards you had, which other awards did you receive? Or that was just it?
After my West African College of Surgeons award exam, I one day just woke up, checked my email, and I had an email from Lagos, where our headquarters is, and then they said I had an award for the best female candidate for that year in West Africa.
This one day I'll have to sit to
So seriously, I had to go to Ouagadougou to pick up the award. And I did that in 2017, West Africa.
West Africa. Wow.
So I picked up the award in 2017 in Ouagadougou.
That's quite recent.
Yes.
Best female. I don't really get it, like in practice or...
No, exam.
Exam.
Yes, so we write exam after the training. You write an exam and then you are given a certificate. So for the West African College, we have schools in Nigeria, schools in Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire. We have some in Burkina Faso, some in Senegal, Gabon, West African countries.
You mentioned that you were really surprised, like.
Yeah, well, like even the medical school ones, I didn't expect that, and it gets.
Despite the fact that you knew that you kept saying your best.
Yes, I did, but my best was to pass. The awards were the icing on the cake. So
were you the only female? The award was for the best female.
So that was one category, but there were so many different categories.
And did you find other females also getting some awards in that regard?
Yes, there were